private, unique story, eh? Isn't that what people, reach for in Facebook or something? Something somewhere in social media to have the unique experience or unique this. We fall flat on our faces with that
Yeah.
because it's the same old, same old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Early generation, later generation. It doesn't fucking matter because there's no people. We're used. We're like the fake representative of a shell company, whatever. You know what I mean? It's Paul LLC. It's not. Paul has nothing to do with running the fucking show.
Good.
We've all merged. It's been a giant merger. No one knows it. We all think we have our own unique company.
Yes.
Right.
That's the dilemma of it. It's not like an exceptional mistake. It's the pattern of the system. The parasitical system has the host believing it's a unique, separate, special host. It's incredible, really. And against all the evidence that if you were somewhat in an objective state, which is difficult as a subjective experience, well, let's just say somewhere near an objective state, and you sat, let's say 2 weeks at recovery meetings, you would have to come to the conclusions that your thoughts were had by many other people. Yeah. Your
Yeah.
feelings were had by many other people. And the unique, heinous things you did, they did the same heinous things and called them unique. Where does that lead you? I just don't get that. I do get the stubbornness. I do. Because of the programming. The programming has you as a long-lasting, independent, unique entity, no matter what the evidence is. Yeah, you're not going to win in a court in the mental state. You're not. You're going to lose, no matter how much evidence to convict the true culprit. You'll be going to jail. That's an incredible, powerful programming. Yeah. It can last 40 years in the solution. You'll still be the long arm of the mental law will still reach out from the past and have you by the balls. Based on something you did or you shouldn't have done while you
Yeah.
were being driven by this condition. Yeah. It's such a stubborn programming. I don't believe the programming cannot go in the programming. Self cannot get out of self. Yeah. And self is not going to go in self and make it a free self. It's just not. It's all you need is a pair of glasses to read the evidence differently, and it will bring you to a whole new conclusion. And that new conclusion may be that which has defeated me is not me. It's not of my nature. It is a foreign nature. And if it's not me, it's an obvious next step is you can be free from it. Yeah. What keeps us tripping is it's seen as me all day. And then I'm
Yeah.
trying to be free as it all day. And it keeps failing. And I keep blaming me for not succeeding, getting out of me, which it can't get out of itself. Yeah. It's insane. It goes on and on and on and on. You can have the clearest demonstration. You could have a
Where'd you go? I lost you, Paul.
oh, did you miss this whole thing? That was good.
I I muted you on accident.
Oh, that second. Let's say you had a perfect demonstration of the failure of the system called self, packed with illustrations, past and then future projections, and still under that incredible revelation, you'd walk out of that event as a self, seemingly. It's insane. Yeah. I mean, the jury is already in. It was like self has been convicted on all counts, and you're worried about how you're going to live that jail term out. Still is you. It's insane. I mean, I just ran into it. I've ran into it a lot. It's not people, it's something in people that just just deflects all scrutiny. Yeah. Or it can have the clearest scrutiny, and a second later it doesn't matter. It just keeps on keeping on. So yeah, if you're new or not, this is not an AA meeting. I'll do the announcement. So yeah, yeah, yeah. About the exact nature of the wrong. Because everything else about the program is super clear. Yeah. But if you get clear about the exact nature of the wrong, it will actually, it's like one of my electric bikes. One of the bikes has an amplification. So it amplifies the electricity and gives it a lot of torque so you can go up hills. Yeah. It's the same amount of electricity, but it amps it up. Well, to me, I humbly believe an understanding of the exact nature of the wrong will amp up the electricity of the solution. I just do. It's still a solution, yeah, but it will amp it up because the exact nature of wrong doesn't cause, it's not a way out of the 12 steps or making amends or get learning. Yes, it just allows when you're out of the problem, you'll see you're not the problem. Yeah. While you're in the problem and you try to keep seeing you're not the problem, it won't work probably. But if you do what we do and you get relief from the problem, that's the best time to look at the problem. And if you have this understanding, you may look at the problem and see that it is a foreign activity. It's not of you. You're not beholden to the behavior it produced through you in a long time ago or even today. Yeah. You're accountable because we're on a game board. Yeah. And when the boot kicks the Eiffel Tower, the boot has to admit you kicked the Eiffel Tower. Yeah. Are you a boot? No. But you're appearing on a game board seemingly as a boot. Yeah. So when my dog, the dog I have seemingly, if you asked anyone in my neighborhood, I have this dog, this black retriever. If it takes a shit on someone else's lawn, they do not complain to my dog. They don't. They don't call my dog. They call me. Yeah. Because I'm accountable for my dog in this place. Yes. Now, did I take the shit on the lawn? No. I am very clear. My dog Lola took the shit on the lawn. I am not going to keep reminiscing about Lola taking that shit on the lawn for 30 years. Probably not. Because between that and then, she'll probably take shits on other lawns. Yeah. Yeah. I will see it a pattern that dogs take shits on lawns. I'm not going to beat Lola up. I'm not going to go over it, over it, and over it again. Like I should have done it differently. I didn't do it. Yeah. I will be relieved of all that. And you know what I'm talking about because you've had it in your head, maybe even this morning. Yeah. You can be relieved of all that. Yes, you can. Just seeing the difference between you and the dog that you're accountable for. Just to see the difference. Yeah. This is, traveling lighter, it's easy when all the arrest stops. Yeah. All the fucking tumor, all the, let's say, the abscesses from shootings with spit, all this stuff you can see. Yeah. But traveling lighter gets subtle after a while, where it's how you're living, not what's happening in the living. Yeah. It's not judged by did I go to jail or not. It's judged by how did you travel through what life had in store for you. And I can humbly come back and say something not of my own making, nor your making, something from some power has allowed me to travel lighter through a lot of period of this life. Yeah. And for a lot of period of this life, I was not traveling lighter. There was seemingly the same me. One me did not travel lighter. The other seeming me has traveled lighter. Not produced by either of the me's. Yeah. One me was driven by the head. The other me is driven. I don't know. I don't even want to name it. All I can tell it, the direction of its wind is bringing me to nice fucking harbors. Yeah. So that's all I care about. Don't care how much knots in the winds or if it's the strongest wind of all time. I just steadily keep going in a direction that doesn't bring me anxiety and fucking a drive to control, but sort of disarms me and lets me sit back and get moved by this current. Yes? Yeah. Hallelujah. What more would I want in this place? Really? I seem to have to be in every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I do. Sometimes I have to do more, so I have to do less, seemingly. Yeah. Now, do I want to be in Shangri-La Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? Yeah, maybe. But am I in Shangri-La? No. I'm maybe at the DMV. I may be talking to someone who I'm not even talking to. Alcoholism is talking back. I may be in a lot of conditions. Yeah. Where's the real value is the traveling lighter through it all. Because I can't seem to change my destiny. Maybe you think you can. Maybe you can think you can direct how this dream of life is going to be exactly for you every day. But it didn't work with me. Yeah. I had to throw that up and give it to some other power to control. Yeah. And basically be on a need to know basis and get downloads and it tells me what to do. Pretty much. Yeah. It doesn't have to go, you have to put 4 grains of salt in the fucking marinara sauce. No. It's not like every second. Yeah. It's like, hey, why not say what's going on in the head? Yeah. Have restraint and pen and tongue. And then see what it's like when you didn't say anything in about a couple of hours. Yeah. Instead of how you know it's going to look like if you do say something. Wow. And then get into the habit of being directed. Yeah, not by the head, but by the spirit, which is perhaps that's the better way offers. Yeah. It's like here, you walk into a car lot, you think you're the driver, but something knows you're the car. So the person, while all along you're thinking you have a choice and you're the driver, that which is there knows you're a car and says, listen, it knows that it doesn't matter you as a driver, you're the driven. Yeah. So let me lead you to a better driver. Yeah. Now you can have a narrative, you're doing it all, but you're not. And I'm not going to argue with that, but I know. So I'm gonna put a different driver in you. Yeah. And then see how you go. And I'll tell you, the same car that was driven by another driver that you hate, you may like the same car that's now being driven by the new driver. Maybe you don't have, I got to get rid of this car. Maybe I got to turn this car in. Maybe all that will go and you'll find the car's fine, really. It's the driver that's important. I didn't know I was being driven by something, but I came to know because I found a lot of other people have been driven by something. And we seem to have ended up at the same 3 places: institution, jails, and death. So it's not really a mystery, is it? It seems to be obvious that we're driven. Okay. Yeah. Instead of, oh, it's going to cost me tons of money to change the upholstery, get a better engine, get the brakes. No, all I need is a new driver. Yeah. It's readily available through this program. Yeah, great. Great. And I've been driven by something, and I was driven by something before. The driven is exactly the same, but what's driving and how it feels to be driven is completely different. It is, but the act is the same. I have been driven by something since I started having thoughts and shit. Yeah, since I was 4 or 5, something was driving me. Yeah, I would say there were two, maybe they had different flavors, but it seems to be, in my view, after recovery, it was one or the other. And what the driver was based on the faith that I represent. Yeah. So if I had trust in the finite self, I was driven by finite self. If I had trust in the infinite, I was driven by the infinite. Yeah. Same car, basically a lot of the same conditions, but completely different driver. We have people here that have seen the contrast. Yeah. We've seen it for 36 years, some of us here. Some of us maybe 36 hours. Yeah. But the contrast, the longer you're being driven, the more you see the contrast between the drivers. Yeah. Don't you see it? The one driver wants you to constantly get a new car. It blames everything on the car, but it sucks. It's not a good driver. It's a failed one, actually, but it will never admit that. So it blames you. It kicks the tires, fuck, pours shit on the upholstery, doesn't take care of it. And then it seems to be the car's fault. And the poor fucking car takes it all upon itself when all it needs is another driver. Yes, that's it. And just humbly admit the car can't drive itself. It can't. Yeah. That would be the old driver, really. It would. So I hope you passed that point where the decision was made to turn one's will and life over to the care of this new driver, and then judge the new driver, comparing it with the old, and where you end up and how things go. Yeah. It doesn't mean if you like it or not, just see the results. Yeah. And humbly, I would admit it will have humility. There will be a humility that will grow, and you'll know, thank God, not only will you know that you're not doing a lot of the shit that's keeping you afloat, that something is doing for you what you can't, and now you'll know something used to do through you what you would never have done by yourself. And now you can see, you can get a composite sketch of the old driver by the new driver. Yes. And hopefully you'll recognize the old driver was never the car, as you're recognizing the new driver is not the car. You're the car that's being driven. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what the program is in a way. Yeah. The poor car. Yeah. In this world, the car that's used to drive to the bank and then get robbed is what goes to jail, the car. It's so insane. Yeah. And it's funny because in this world, if you have enough money in cash, your car won't go to jail. Yeah. But in this case, most of us, as the car, are going to go to jail, yet we did not rob the bank. Yeah. You tell me, you're going to tell me you did that shit that you did while under the influence, that you chose to do that, when even the book that everyone says they love so much states it very clearly. You were driven by 100 forms of something. Da 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 da. It's always talking to us about a car as a car. Yeah. And perhaps there's a better way for the world of cars to have, instead of trusting the finite self or that driver, we're going to trust the infinite. Yeah. We're in a world of cars. What we're looking for is the right driver. Yeah, we don't need a Rolls Royce. We may not. Yeah, it's probably not going to solve your problems. Yeah, because the problem isn't the fucking car, it's the driver. Isn't that amazing? There you go. What's that movie? Toy Story. There you go. We just told the first Toy Story example for the whole situation. Don't you see it, really? I mean, you can work out and make the car have bigger tires. You can do this. This is where I was back there. One of the solutions there is a lot of people work out. I saw all these guys like 6 months ago, and now they look like Superman. It's like fucking unbelievable, jacked up and shit. Yeah. So yeah, let's get those tires, put more pressure in it. Blah blah blah. But you can keep changing the fucking car. If you don't change the driver, yeah, yeah. I'm going to go on a diet. I'm not going to do this. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And yet, if you still have the driver, yeah, the driver is going to do exactly what they said in the book. You'll be generous and virtuous and kind. But isn't that still self-centeredness? Yeah. Yeah. So you can make the car have incredibly wide open windows, lots of space in there. It doesn't matter because you still have the fucking same driver. Yeah. Everyone's trying to change cars here in this world. Yeah. I mean, TikTok must be like a car showroom. Everyone's showing themselves doing something. Buy this car, like this car, do this car. It doesn't fucking matter at the end of the day. It's the driver. Yeah. Mm. I see kids, we have teenage kids. They're in the garage working on the car for hours. I mean, the mirror in the bathroom must be tired of holding images. Yeah. All about the car. Jeez. Yet they may still have the same driver behind the wheel. Wow. Mm, well, it would be nice if the driver could go to the shop instead of the car. Instead of having to pay $800, yeah, fucking put the driver fucking in, in driving school. The self would fail every time. It would. It's not equipped to drive us. It isn't, is it? It's failed miserably. It presents us, thank God, most of us, one of the first big things that drops in the lack of interest in self is it loses its position as a GPS. That's fucking unbelievable. When the self it has the GPS, wow. It's not only talking about shit, it's leading you to do shit. That's when you got a lot of accidents. Yeah. But for a lot of us, that first, it gets fired from the GPS position, which is fucking great. It still tries you to tell you to turn left, but you keep going straight. Yeah. And that's a huge relief. But now it's got the psychological aspect of going over every fucking thing it drives you to do and seeing fault or whatever in it and blame. Yeah. That's a little more subtle. But first, when it gets relieved of the GPS position, fantastic. Yeah. Yeah. And many of us that has been, thank God, relieved of. And so now we're being directed by something, and our decisions aren't made by self. And therefore, we're not having all those road hazards we had before. Yeah. Yeah. Mm. So I like that little picture. running with it today. Simple, isn't it? Be much nicer. Instead of, oh, I need a whole car thing. No, just get a new driver, Paul. What? Your car may be completely sufficient to go over the roads that your life has in store for you. It may. It may be completely ready to go wherever you're going to be going. Not what you think you're going, but where you're actually going to be going. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You got
So,
great analogies.
well, it makes what it does with me, it's like an imagery, which I love because imagery is much more convincing than words to me. And I'm just going with the imagery of this whole thing, and it's verifying a point that is already verified where I'm sitting, but it's nice to see it. Yeah. Because most people are working on the fucking car, trying to convince the driver to drive differently when the car looks different. It doesn't seem to work. But hey, we keep trying and trying and trying. All right, you want to open it up?
Yeah, Michael,
No,
did
this is
you
not
hit
an AA
record?
meeting. What?
Did Michael hit record on this?
Oh, no,
I saw a record message at the beginning.
it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Okay. So you guys know it's not an AA meeting.
At
Paul kind
least
of,
recording here. Yeah.
yeah, Paul kind of introduced what was going on. I had a reading on page 50, but I'm not going to read it because we already started this and we've got a good theme going. So anybody got any questions or comments, just raise your hand or come in and we'll go from there.
Do you see when you come to this call lot, when it says perhaps there's a better way, it doesn't say get a new car. It basically says get a new driver. It does. It doesn't say shit about the car. It says the drive is fucking faulty. Hmm. No?
Don't
Well,
see
read
any
what
hands
you
yet.
want. Or read what you were going to read.
I'll read. It's page 50, we agnostics.
We stimulate the masses.
Yeah. Here we go. Page 50, last paragraph. Here are thousands of men and women, worldly indeed. They flatly declare that since they have come to believe in a power greater than themselves, to take a certain attitude toward that power and to do certain simple things, there's been a revolutionary change in their way of living and thinking. In the face of collapse and despair, in the face of total failure of their human resources, they found that a new power, peace, happiness, and sense of direction flowed into them. This happened soon after they wholeheartedly met a few simple requirements. Once confused and baffled by the seeming futility of existence, they show the underlying reasons why they were making a heavy going of life. Leaving aside the drink question, they tell why living was so unsatisfactory. Well, you just did that. They show how the change came over them when many hundreds of people are able to say that the consciousness of the presence of God today is the most important fact of their lives. They present a powerful reason why one should have faith. So that was a reading.
Yeah, exactly. So the car can get worked on. It's great. Yeah. But still, the more important, the most important is the change of the driver. And they found that being entrenched in self couldn't get out of self. So they had to find a solution outside of self, which is they call the spiritual solution. Yeah. Because the problem resides in the mind, and that's where the mental solutions are cooked up. Yeah. So a spiritual solution to really the mental solutions. Really. Yeah. They're both offering us solutions. One is to drink and do drugs or do something, or take a hit of crack or whatever. And the other is giving other solutions, yeah? Which is, why no, someone, and you'll hear it through other people usually, and say, hey, listen, why just sit here today, don't do anything, and see what all your gloomy forecasts look like tomorrow when you're in tomorrow. Yeah. And then the person does, and now something that he believed would never work out has seemingly turned and worked out. Yeah. And now he has learned a small example of he could face life successfully, which is he didn't take the mental solution, which was let's just smoke crack. He took a spiritual solution, which was really not taking the mental solution. And therefore, you learn. You know what I mean? You learn. So you have examples of how the new driver takes you through turns and shit like that. And you have a lot of fucking accidents you can compare it to by the old driver. And now you're starting to have faith, as it says here, in what? The new way, which is trusting the infinite. Yeah. So either it rushes all in at once or it comes in slowly, but the effect and the result are the same. There's a shift of interest or trust from finite self to the infinite. And that's the movement recovery supports, right? And reinforces. Yeah. A loss of interest in self, and then all these incredible situations start happening. You start feeling you're conscious, a new power flow in, you learn you can face life successfully. You're basically reborn. Yeah. So the car gets reborn by just having a new driver. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. And hopefully we have a way of life to keep an eye on the old driver because it still has the keys and it tries to get in. Yeah. And fucking, but you can usually hear it. He really revs the engine. It's not like a nice slow turning on. It revs and it's ready to go. And that's where there's an abort button, restraint of pen and tongue or whatever. You just, yeah, yeah. And, and we have all those things like 6 and 7 and stuff to that atmosphere of the old driver. When we start breathing it, we can tell the truth about it, put it in that oxygen tank of 6 and 7 and get it clean, get some clean air. Yeah. Yeah. The program is incredible, literally. It really is. And I think its incredibility gets more clearer when you see the exact nature of the problem. It's not a problem of the car, it's a problem of the driver. Yeah. Yeah.
So, hey, Paul, quick question. I don't know if you can hear me, Paul. Yeah?
Yeah. Yes.
No? So you're talking about the old driver and the new driver, but you know, you're not the old driver or the new driver.
No, you're the driven.
Right. So when you're saying, get a new driver, well, you're not that either.
Well, that doesn't matter. There's something driving you. It doesn't matter what you are or what you're not. It's to be clear that you're driven. You are not the driver.
Yeah.
It just opens up for you to have, let's say, if you have a cameo appearance in a movie, yet you think you're the star, yeah, the director would probably pull you off the stage for a second and tell you, no, your role is to sit in the back in that crowd and look like you're excited, not giving a giant soliloquy.
But
So it's just a recognition.
who knows? I mean, I got a bad connection here, so I didn't hear what you said, but whatever you just said, it's probably true for you. and that works. So that's cool, bro.
Well, yeah, it has find out what works with you. Yes, but
Exactly. Yes,
I
sir.
think it's very clear if you look at the program, the first 164 pages as a manual, you're the car, not the driver.
I
Yes,
get that. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I think that's all you need to get. And then
Well, who
basically,
decides, not I hate to be told what I need to I guess I have a stubborn part in my personality
well,
where
then
someone tells
have
me
you
like,
found
that's
out
what you need to get.
if that if you have you found that out to be true?
Oh, a lot of things and more shall be revealed. Yeah. A lot of things that I once thought were true, you know, may have been true. I mean, true. Yeah.
So I'm
That's a
asking
deep
you,
rabbit hole. Yeah.
have
Yes,
you found out that it's true that it's the driver, not the car?
exactly. I mean, we're all, yeah, something's driving us to the three parking spots. I totally agree on that. Jail, institution, and death. That is a fact, Jack.
And you
Yes.
see that you're the drive, you see that it's the driver, not the car. My sense, well, in my own experience, that was needed to see that.
Right, right.
Almost as if when we say something, when the big book says something like being convinced, it means you need to see what it's going to say, the next sentence. Yeah. So in a sense,
Yeah.
I came to realize I needed to see that I am not the car, I am not the driver. I'm in this analogy, I'm the car. Because how the problem was surviving and existing through me was that it was I was taken to be the driver and the car.
Hmm.
Yes, and that proved not to be true in this experience.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. I agree with that. Yeah.
So there
Hey,
you go.
Paul
Yeah.
and Carrie, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So this is very stage specific. Like there were certain things I needed to see before I could see other things.
Yes.
They needed to land, then I could see the next thing. So, if I said, look, you're trying to escape an imaginary place, you would probably understand that, correct?
Yes.
But,
I
but
would
for
see
somebody else, yeah, but
I'm not,
somebody else at a simpler level would not, they would go, what the hell does that mean? That's what I mean by it's very stage specific.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's good though, you say stage specific.
Stage
All
specific.
right.
And I'm using
But
language. I mean,
each stage also has the ability to sense the aroma of the bigger stage.
hmm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So sometimes when you're saying something that maybe where the person is, they don't understand, something does understand that in them. So they're getting that aroma, and it's going to lead them to be at that restaurant soon.
That's good.
Oh, that's how I feel it was. So I heard things that I did not understand, but I did understand them later.
Mhm.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Things that have happened that I thought, I've all the worst things that happened to me turned out to be, the best things, that type of thing. And things that are happening right now, I have faith that are going to be the best for me in the long run and for everyone, not just me, but for
Yeah.
everything that happens. And once that is kind of accepted, then it's just like, at least for me, I can only talk for me. It's just to kind of go have fun, and fun for me is different than fun for probably a lot of people. But yeah, and just know I have a faith that I've always been taken care of. I've always been taken care of, always. Even when hindsight is 2020. Even when I was locked up and all that stuff, homeless, hungry, blah blah blah, I was always taken care of, and I'm taken care of now. And I do have faith that everybody's taken care of. And but then you still got to get up in the morning and have fun. That's my motto. And help, be of service. I should throw that in. But being of service for me is just if I yeah, it's just like my daughter said, just don't be a dick, and that's strong work for me if I can do that. Yeah.
Well, Kerry, I mean, Kurt, with the stage thing, you don't want to, my feeling, you don't want to tailor something to fit the stage. You need to have a door open still when you're talking about the stage, because this is when that's fundamentalism to me. There's a certain thing, and there becomes the standardized stage or level, and I'm not a believer in that. Yeah.
And I'm not either. It's just we're limited to this language of what we're pointing to. And I think Carrie brought up a great point in the, I mean, this is because it's like I had somebody ask me, okay, I see this now. How do I get rid of the self?
No,
Of course.
Kurt, it's for those who have eyes that can see, yeah? And you
Yeah,
can't force that on anybody. So, I mean,
yeah,
you can lead by
yeah,
example, but you're
right,
not going to lead, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink type of thing, yeah?
yeah,
So
yeah.
for those who have eyes to see and hear, and who knows? I don't pretend to know, and I run from people that tell me they know.
Mhm.
Basically, that's just me, yeah.
Yeah,
But I think everyone has work to do, and we're doing it, yeah.
yeah, yeah. We're doing
Yes,
it.
but in one sense, uh, there's a need to have the horse brought to water.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you can bring them to water. Oh yeah, bring them to the water. But how are you gonna
Well,
make
you
them drink?
don't do that. You learned already, obviously. If you've been in AA for any period of time, you realize your position is not in the outcome business. It's
Exactly.
obvious. Yeah,
Right.
because
Yes.
you can present this or whatever and been the kindest person at all times. It doesn't matter. It's the patient that needs to have a diagnosis,
Mhm.
not you. And therefore, and part of
Yes.
this disease is a huge resistance to anything different than the disease. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're in this business, which my friends are back east, I mean, they get a giant helping of frustration and disappointment every day.
Yeah,
This is
man.
the
I
way
couldn't
it
do it.
goes. So, uh, and they're very, very clear. They may have been an idealism. They're very, very clear that they're not producing outcomes, but they are clear that it's a joy to bring the horse to water.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
for
yes. So,
sure.
so
Hey,
when if something isn't going to happen, doesn't mean the other thing is a waste of time. You need to.
No,
Yes. I'm not saying you're
no,
saying that. The statement
no.
can read that way. So
Of course. And I'm a firm believer of, hindsight for me too was letting people. I wasn't being helped when people were helping me. When my family was still trying to like bail me out, it got to the point where they said, "Don't call me. Don't. We're not giving you any money. Goodbye." That type of thing. And then I was like, you know, so that leading the horse to water, it's tricky, man. I see both sides. You need help, and then at some point, you just let them. You can't help them anymore until they want to help themselves, or Grace steps in, or that's the part I don't really pretend to know how all that works, but just from personal experience, I know that for me, I had to hit pretty low before I even got my attention.
yes,
And
but
then
yeah, but let's say leading a horse to water, just to use the example, doesn't have any meaning except for the horse that's leading the other horse to water. Because the horse
well, it's
seeing,
usually not a horse that leads. No, no, no. A horse doesn't lead a horse. A man leads a horse to water. Typically, is the
no,
way I
no,
read that.
no.
So,
In this example, it's
I
a horse is leading a horse to water. And
well,
because,
that's totally different, man. If you lead a horse to water, the
well,
horse
we're
is
going to
probably going
move
to
on,
drink if it's
Terry.
a
I
yeah,
horse
know
yeah,
it's
leading.
getting,
yeah.
it's
We got
getting
some
long.
hands up here. We got some hands up here.
Let's forget it.
Let's Tom.
Yay! I can't see. I got a bad connection. So thanks, Paul.
Yeah,
Everyone.
you're welcome.
Tom, you had your hand up first, then Al.
Hey, everybody. I'm loving this meeting or non-meeting this morning and the car metaphor. and and I just had the a thing the other day where it looks like, I mean, if anybody should know about how this thing works by now, it would be someone like myself who's got all kinds of experiences inside of AA and outside of AA. And yet, I mean, what I want to hear Paul talk about is the tenacity of the old driver to kind of hang out at the rest stop, wait for the new driver to take a pee break, and then it jumps in and tries to drive the car again. And and self knowledge doesn't work. I know better, and it's only after there's a recognition that, oh, the old driver somehow got in the car again and is driving, and then like you said, I gotta go do 6 and 7. But I'm kind of tired. And do you ever, and you were talking, Kurt was talking about stages, is there ever a stage where that stops happening? In my experience, it hasn't stopped yet. So I keep coming to meetings. Here I am. That's my comment or question.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in a way, when the car napping, the kidnapping, the car napping occurs in the early stages, there's a community that knows it's when the old driver comes by, they give it a ticket. They recognize the old driver. You know what I mean? So they get pulled over quickly. And then the old driver, after a while, it doesn't really put up much of a stink. It slinks out of the car and the new driver gets in there. Now, I humbly believe, just like it says in the book, the problem will not exist for you anymore. Yeah, I believe that's available for sure. And I also believe it can stabilize if you recognize the problem as not you. Yeah. So, uh, yeah. So we have a lot of vigilante police people that will help you pull over and ask for your papers and will recognize the old driver. Yeah. Don't you think? Yeah. Don't you when you meet people? Yeah. You can tell who you're hearing from when you pull them over. It's the old driver or the new driver. Yeah. I think it's just as what an incredible statement in the book. The problem will not exist for you anymore. That's incredible, eh? Yeah. Maybe the ultimate, it becomes not a self-driving car, but a spirit driving car. You know how they're trying to make it self-driving and it's not fucking working, but maybe a spirit-driven car. So you're not, yeah, yeah. So uh, there's no option anymore for the other car. The other car is on an entertainment channel on Sirius, yeah. And actually, the only way you could listen to that station is Sirius radio. You have to take it seriously. Other than that, it's like mostly a comedic thing. I had it yesterday. I've been ill for a while, and then it got home and it tried to bite into something and really gnaw on it. And it went and it was pretty good. I mean, it was loud. It usually isn't this loud. And then suddenly it thought it had the stage set for a big drama and it turned into something completely else. It was great. It was great. So I could see it was standing with its pants down and it was very good. Very good. So it was like it used 4 weeks of illness to get this momentum, and then it stored it up for this one moment, and it figured it could at least blow up something, and then it lit it, and the fuse looked just like other fuses in the past, and it was going to be a big stick of dynamite, and it hit like a stale Fourth of July little popper or something. It was it's very deflating for the head. It had been like this 4 weeks of being very ill. It was gathering nuts, It was gathering nuts and it wanted to present something. And it thought it had a pretty good bomb and it didn't go off. It was great. I really enjoyed it. I wish I could have, if I could have taped it, you know, and then presented it, all of you would have recognized it. Yeah. All of you. If I just, it didn't even have to be a film, just the audio, you would have recognized it. And then it was hoping for the big kaboom and nothing happened. It was great. Really cool. So, I think if you have like sentient, one of those things that blow up in the car if you're going to have an accident.
Some kind of a cushion in the
Yeah,
steering
that
wheel.
thing.
Airbag.
Yeah, the
Airbag.
I think Grace
airbags.
is that. Grace is sort of it triggers itself and you can't do anything. You know what I mean? Its hands can't get on the wheel. The little sticky little self hands. Yeah.
It was late last night, very late. I've been gnawing on something. I chaired a meeting on it, talked about it, and then still kept gnawing on it. And then finally, late last night, it was like I told somebody that, only the ego thinks it can get out of the ego. And I just saw it. All of a sudden, I just saw it that, I was trying to solve the problem as the wrong driver. And
Yes.
there was an exhale. There was a letting go. There was a, oh.
This more is going to be revealed. So yeah.
Yeah, like that.
It is. It says it's going to this power is going to constantly reveal stuff to us. Constantly means like always. Yeah. So yeah, more gets revealed about what you're not. Actually, like you said, you get the old driver's resume. You find out that it has a long arrest record and shit like that. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, yeah.
Come on in here, Al.
Al Vegas.
Al, baby.
You know, thank God for messengers like you, man, because just one word, driven driver. Let's get off the car and focus on the driver. I cannot get the imagery of driving Miss Daisy out of my head. All I've been seeing the whole meeting is what's his name, Morgan Freeman driving Jessica Tandy, and she is giving directions to the driver in the front seat, even though she trusts him implicitly. But there's a skepticism, unsuspected driving resource, and I've just come out of my driver wanted to take me out to the desert and bury me 6 feet under without a trace. I mean, that's what I'm coming back from, and I don't want to get choked up, but yeah, this is a mofo, this thing. And to hear you today talking about the driver, fantastic. Just what a gift. I got to Vegas almost 6 years ago, and they were talking about some people come for an oil change, others come for an overhaul, and you're saying F the car. Let's focus on the driver, man. Let's get back to some driver training education. Because I think I'm the best driver on the planet because my daddy taught me how to parallel park and then said everything's good after that. If you can parallel park, you're good, son. All the rest is easy. Let's get the parallel parking out of the way. Anywho, I will zip it now and just express my gratitude again.
Thanks, Al. Thanks, buddy. All right, any other hands? Was that a hand, Kathleen, or were you just clapping?
You don't want to have fun with Miss Daisy? Come on. Take the bait. Take the bait.
Oh my God. Let's see. Mike
So
M.
let me use this like Al just said. So when you hear the statement, perhaps there's a better way. Yeah. Rather than trusting finite self, trust the infinite. Yeah. So in that case, you could see from self-centeredness, you would see you are going to put yourself in the car of the self, the finite, or an infinite car. That's how it first reads it from my head. Yeah. It's there I am, and I'm trusting this one car, which is finite self, and I need to trust the other car, which is the infinite. Now, over years of being in that position, I realized I'm the car, not the driver. So when it says driven, that feels very familiar to me because my life has felt like I have been driven more than driving. Really, just my own experience year after year. It seems I'm driven more than driving. Yeah. So then the statement from staying awake in the program now looks at like, yeah, there's trust, yeah, in this driver, which is the finite self. So I'm very vague in whatever, but we use it as a car. Yeah. So the car is either trusting the finite self or the infinite. Now that is clearer to me now. Yeah. And not being the driver brings a lot of relief from all the responsibilities of all the bad driving and everything else. It brings me a huge relief to be seen as the car. Yeah. When I think I'm the driver and I'm going to go in one car or the other, my driving is going to be hidden by complaining about the cars. Yeah. And I'm going to think I would be able to drive better if I had a better car. Yes. But in fact, yeah. So, and then there's thousands of different cars. So I could disguise the fact that I'm a terrible driver and keep blaming it on the cars. Yeah. But when you see yourself as a car, it brings a great relief because uh, there's so much expected of the driver. Yeah. And there may not be that much expected as the car. Like if I'm a Toyota, yeah, I'm a Toyota. Yeah. I don't have guilt that I'm not a Rolls Royce or I should be driving like a Ferrari. Yeah. There's an acceptance I can find as the car I cannot find as the driver. Yeah. Or if you want to look at it as a sail in the wind. Yeah. Instead of the thinking I'm the wind and I'm blaming every sail because I haven't arrived to where I want to go, that's insane. The sail is just something that's being employed. It's the wind that's deciding everything. Yeah. And this misunderstanding is stubborn. So maybe if you see yourself as a car and you've made a great choice in the driver, sobriety, fuck yeah, there'll be acceptance of the car much more than you'll ever accept the driver when it's seen as you. Yeah. So whatever, It
Well,
was a
that's
simple idea. Simple idea. It took over the whole meeting in my head. Yes, there you
right.
go.
That was a
Yeah.
good meeting. Good
I
meeting.
wasn't thinking about a car at all. Or yes, I wasn't. It was funny, eh? But it gets it. I hope it gets something across because it got a lot across where I am. That's all I can do, really. So, and really, we are faith, bro, as it says. Yeah. Both different drivers. We are really the source of the driver, be it good or bad, is the faith that's in it. Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. Thanks, guys. And anyone else? And then,
No, I don't see any hands, and it's 11:30.
well, I'm happy to be back and
Yeah, good to have you.
I appreciate uh I was usually I was with doing the same thing at a live thing of down there in New Jersey. But hey, all right, let's say, hey Al, nice to see you. And you faced life successfully. You're still here, eh? Yeah. Tom. Denver. More shall be revealed. Kathleen, nice to see you. She was a lot of things, and then she ended up happy. Dana, nice to see you. Dana, AKA Honesty, AKA whatever it may be. Kurt Zimmerman, thank you, Kurt. Yeah, I met a lot of people that you've influenced down back there in New Jersey. They don't want to admit it because they don't want to feel like they're affected by Redondo Beach, but it's good. We got Axel. Nice to see you, Axel. Steve in San Diego, pleasure. Thank you for your willing to be of service. Kathy, Cleveland, as always, soaking it in. I know Kathy soaks it in. She just sits there. Fantastic. Michael Stacy, as always. Terry in Camarillo. Yes. Mickey, the matriarch of Madeira. We've got Cindy H. Martin. Thank you, Martin, for the work. Walter in the Netherlands. Joseph. Joseph, you're outside. Very nice. Nice to see you outside, Joseph, in France. Kerry, always a pleasure. He's driving on the Big Island somewhere. Rick Rowe, Toronto. Rick, I hope you're doing well. Yeah, great. John K, as always. Thank you, John. Roman Mueller, Germany. We got Mosh. Let me say, I'm going to try to do it. Maushumi? Somewhat? All right, good. Keep your eye on the road there. Yep. We got Miss Volkman. Nice to see you. We got Rico. Yeah, very nice to see Rico pop in again. Oliver in Berlin. Always a pleasure. We got Mike M. We got a phone number. Fletch, we heard from him earlier. Ben. We got Cathay in, I think I'm saying it right, in Quebec. Oliver. I think we got everyone. We're going to be here today at 4:30 Pacific time. And now the schedule's back. We're going to have our last live meeting Saturday at 1 at this church we've been going to for years and after years. They're going to need the space now in the daytime. So it'll look like every other meeting we ever had there. Really, the message won't be different. Nothing will really be different. All right, thank you. I'll see you guys so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Bye, Paul. Thank you.
Yep. See everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.